Welcome everyone to our weekly Forex market analysis call, and this is in preparation for trading on for the week of October 23rd to 27th, 2017. Just a quick disclaimer before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. All right, so as usual, we will get started by taking a look at our Forex factory calendar here, see what's coming up in the week here. Okay, so here we are. Let's quickly go to this week. Okay, so Monday, not a whole lot in terms of red news here. On Tuesday, we have PMI numbers out of the Eurozone. So even though PMI numbers are orange here, they can have an impact, especially if they're they're out of alignment with what's expected. So keep that in mind. They're leading indicators, so these are important numbers as well. CPI here for Australia will be important. So this is the inflation number that the central banks like to keep track of. And if the inflation number is in line with expectations, that will be good for the currency. Otherwise, it will have a negative impact on Australian dollar here. And then we have preliminary GDP number for British pound on Wednesday here. That will be an important number. Core durable goods for US, that will be important here as well. The biggest one here for this week is for Canada. Bank of Canada will have their will announce their monetary policy report as well as the rate statement. So last time we heard Bank of Canada, they essentially said that they're not going to do mechanical interest rate hikes. So they're going to look at how the data is coming out. And as a result of that, market is not expecting another interest rate hike here. Now, what the market will be looking for will be the statement. So what kind of commentary do they have on the economy? So if they are positive, if Bank of Canada is positive about the economy, they see growth in the economy and things continuing on, that will be positive for Canadian dollar. However, if there is any sort of concern in the statement or something that even alludes to concern about the economy, that will be negative for the Canadian dollar. And then we have the press conference, of course, so that always has an impact. So expect volatility in terms of Canadian dollar on Wednesday here. And then we have Thursday, we have ECB press conference and minimum bid rate. So two central banks back to back. This will have a big impact on the euro because market is expecting, so we are in October now, market is expecting to get details from ECB in terms of their asset purchase program. They had pushed the plan for asset purchase program, or they were going to disclose the plan for their asset purchase program in October. So here we are. That will be the biggest market moving event for euro for this week. So if they do say we are going to reduce the asset purchase program, that will be positive for the euro. However, if they say anything like, oh, the plan is not ready yet, or we are not, we will wait and see, we're not going to reduce the asset purchase program, that will be negative for the euro. So that's something to keep in mind. This will be very important. We also have employment claims for the US, and then we have advanced GDP number for the US on Friday. So Wednesday and Thursday will be the most important days in terms of our trading, because both central banks or both of those days have central bank events. So keep that in mind. The rest of the week is okay in terms of the amount of news that is coming out. So let's move on to the charts here. This is Euro US dollar weekly chart. So what we have for now in terms of the euro is basically a range. So we've been trading in this range for the last 3 weeks now. Now we are heading into ECB announcement. So it is normal to expect that. However, we also have the Catalan situation in Europe. So Catalan, wants independence from Spain, and that's what that is creating volatility in the market in regards to the euro. So keep that in mind. So we have Catalan situation from political issues going on. Anytime there are political issues or political instability, it has a negative impact on the currency. And another thing to keep in mind will be what ECB comes back with. So if ECB says they're going to reduce the asset purchase program, so they're not going to buy as much assets, that will be positive for the euro, and we could see this breakout. So in this case, for now, because it is range bound, we are just going to trade the range. So my strategy for this one, and just keep in mind, because we have ECB coming up, that could change. So right now, I'm looking for price to go to the high of 1.1880 and then do one of these. So basically bounce back into the range. And if the price comes into 1.1680 number, I'm looking for a bounce to the upside from there. So those are the only, those are the two trades that we are looking at. So I'm looking for price to trade within this range till we get to ECB, and then I'm expecting the range to break after that. So once the ECB comes out, if the ECB is positive, I'm looking for price to move up higher. The next target would be 1.1930, and we could even go all the way into this 1.2025 level, basically the high of the pins. But if the ECB comes out as negative, that will not be good for euro, and in that case we could go all the way into 1.1540 or level right about here. This is the support and resistance level. So that's the strategy for now. I'm just looking to trade within the range. So buying at the low at 1.1680 and potential short at 1.1880 level. And after ECB, I'm looking for a breakout of the range. And those are the two levels marked in terms of where the price may go. So I'm going to leave it at that. Pound dollar here. Pound has had an interesting week. We have seen pound sort of go back and forth in this range. So right now, in terms of the British pound, we are hearing Brexit is playing a big role, and it's creating volatility in British pound. When there is positive Brexit news that comes out, it drives the pound up. When there's a negative news, it drives the pound down. So over the last 3 weeks, we have seen a range-bound move in this as well. So this is the previous support and resistance here. This is where we are at the moment. So for British pound as well, since we've been in this range for the last 3 weeks, we are going to treat this, or I'm going to treat this as a range-bound move as well. So I am looking for, again, for a potential selling opportunity at the top at 1.3380 level, and if the price comes into the bottom here, 1.3020 level, I'm looking for a bounce off of that. So that is that will be similar strategy to euro US dollar, looking at a range bound market till we get a trigger that breaks out of this range. So those will be the two levels for now. Going into our Aussie US dollar here. Aussie went quite bullish, and now it's pulled back. So a lot of these pairs have been trading in this range for a bit now. Even though we had a big bullish engulfing candle, it did not manage to break above the 78.95 or 7900 level that we had talked about previously. So since it hasn't, now I'm looking for price to come back towards the bottom of the range here, 0.7730. That will be the target to the downside. So this does not look as bullish right now. Only thing that I'm looking at that could have an impact on this one will be the CPI numbers, inflation data out of Australia. That could have a big impact on that. But other than that, I'm looking for price to come back into this 0.7730 level. And if that level breaks, then lower into 75.80 level. So the move to watch out for here would be the first target here, and then I'm looking for price to do one of these. So looking for a downward move in Aussie US dollar here. New Zealand dollar. New Zealand has dropped quite a bit. Now, when we see things drop so much, first thing we need to keep in mind are retracements. So retracements are common. With New Zealand dollar, the reason it dropped so much was because there were elections last weekend in New Zealand, and they elected the new prime minister. As a result of that, it was very, very negative for New Zealand. So New Zealand dollar dropped across the board against pretty much everything. So for now, because we have had such a big move, we haven't seen such a move in quite some time for this pair. So when this happens, expect retracements. So I am looking for a potential pullback into this 0.7060 level, and then a drop. And once price breaks the low here, then we could go lower. But because it's such a big drop, make sure we are keeping in mind that price could pull back. So that's the move I'm expecting. So I'm bearish on this, but I am looking for a move, pullback into 0.7060 level. And once price stays below that, I'm looking for a further move to the downside for New Zealand US dollar. Canadian dollar, we have had a huge move to the upside here. We have finally broken above the highs here. So as a result of that, I have turned bullish on this one now. So I'm looking for price to go up higher into 1.2780 level, this pin right here. Now, a thing that could change that would be Bank of Canada on Wednesday. If they come in as positive, their comments are positive in terms of economy and everything, that could drive this lower. But for now, just purely based on technicals, I'm looking for a further move to the upside. The first target would be 76, so 1.2700. Second target would be 1.2780 level. So that's what I'm looking for. We could see a pullback into 1.2565 level, and then a further move up. But overall, bias based on this strong weekly close would be a bullish bias. So looking for price to move up higher. Euro pound. This is where we are. So Euro pound had moved up, but for the last 2 weeks, it's really been sitting in this range. So at this time, this looks bearish. So I'd be looking for price to move down into 0.8850 level. And then because we see a rejection of the top here. However, with ECB coming out, so if ECB is hawkish, if they talk about reducing or cutting back on the asset purchase program, this is likely to go up. So for now, because it has stayed in this range for the last 3 weeks, because it's closed into this range, I'm going to treat this as a range bound market as well, because ECB on Wednesday, so midweek, we could see the price kind of turn around on this. So I'm going to look at what price does. So the first target would be 0.8850. See what price does there. If price holds above that level, then I'm looking for price to trade back into the range. And if it goes into the highs, I'm looking for price to drop, basically trade towards the middle of the range. Now on Wednesday, if ECB is bullish, then I'm looking for it to go back all the way to the top of the range and potentially break above as well. However, if ECB, and the target in that case would be this 0.9200 level. But if ECB is not as positive, then I'm looking for price to break down and basically go towards this 0.8750 level, which is the bottom of this pin here. So that's my strategy for Euro pound based on what's coming up this week. All right, so looking at our Euro Swiss franc here, we have seen price move up slowly and steadily here. Very bullish close for the week here, and as a result of that, I'm looking for price to move up higher. So in this case, the target would be 1.1740 level right there. So that will be the next target to the upside. The bias is still to the upside with this positive trend line here. Bullish trend line, looking for a further move to the upside in Euro Swiss franc. Pound Swiss franc here. On the other hand, actually this is bullish as well. We have a bullish pin bar in here, so I'm looking for further move to the upside here. And the target will be 3180 level. Or 3200 level for this one. So 1.3200 will be the target. So this looks bullish at the moment. Do have to keep in mind this 3050 level, but beyond that, I'm looking for it to go into this 1.3200 level. Dollar Swiss franc here, very bullish close for the day, for the week, looking for price to move up higher, and the target here would be 0.9950. So this is bullish engulfing candle, and as we can see, it is trending upwards. So if we were to draw a trend line here, this is trending upwards as well. So looking for price to move up further. Pound yen here. Pound yen, let's take a look. Got some fibs going on. All right, so this is looking bullish as well, bullish close for the week. Next target would be to the upside, looking into 151.20 level. So pound yen looks bullish as well. Euro yen here, bullish close and looking for a further move to the upside, 136.50 level. Now this one is bullish, but we are going to come into this resistance at 134.30 level, or even slightly higher into that 50 level. So once I would wait for price to clear that before turning completely bullish, but overall it's a bullish candle close for the last few weeks. Price has gone back and tested this 131.80 level and has not managed to close below that. So I'm looking for a further move to the upside into 136.50 level. But again, I would like to make sure that I see price close above 134.50 and hold above 134.50 before going into the next target to the upside. Oh yes, so there is Japanese, thanks for reminding me, there is Japanese election this weekend. So just like we saw with New Zealand election and we saw with the US election when Trump got elected, elections these days can make a big difference. Just like central banks are at the forefront, politics is at the forefront as well. So that can make a big, and we saw with Brexit, all of that. So politics is at the forefront. It could cause a big upset. So I would be very careful going into the open and, so kind of have a look at that. Whatever tone that gets set, we could see a follow through just like we saw with the New Zealand dollar. So keep an eye on that as to, how the market reacts. Okay, so now next one is Aussie yen. Again, things could change based on elections, but other than that, this looks bullish as well. We will be coming into this resistance, and this is an important support and resistance at 89.20 level, right about here. So this is not quite as bullish as the other crosses that we saw. So I want to make sure we first see a test of that. So the first target is to the upside, 89.20, and if the price does not break above this, we could see a drop from here. So this could be, this could make make it into a head and shoulders type of formation. So that's something we have to be careful about at this point. Not trading it as a head and shoulders at this moment, but we have to see what happens at 89.20 level. If it does not break above the 89.20 level, then we are likely to see a drop. However, if the price does break above, then we're looking for a bullish move to the upside. So that will be the move that I'll be looking for. The close is bullish. So first target 89.20, second target 90.20, but expecting resistance at 89.20 here. Dollar yen. Big bullish close right into resistance here. However, looking for, based on the bullish close here, looking for further move to the upside, 114.80 level here. Now again, based on elections, things could change. This could drop completely. So make sure you keep that in mind with all the yen crosses. All right, so last one, we'll take a look at gold. Here we are. Gold, bearish close for the day, but for the week, we are bearish as well. Okay, so the next target will be to the downside based on the candle close here. We do see a rejection of this level. Price was not able to break above this strong support and resistance level. So we've seen a pullback. Now I'm looking for price to kind of come back into this 1259.80 level, back into the bottom of this pin here. So the bias would be bearish for me. All right, so that's all I have. Any other questions before we wrap it up here? All right, so no questions. Perfect, so we'll call it a wrap. You guys have a wonderful rest of the weekend and a great trading week. And I will see you next time. Bye for now.